Oh, there you go.
This person is one of the greatest people I ever met in my life.
Let him know, Matt. Let him know, Matt.
This person is through thick and thin. And we had quite a battle to get here, from power outages last night to talk about some real life stuff with everything going on in our lives. And through all that, he's here for one of the best podcasts and the most exciting podcast I've ever had. Everybody, I am so fortunate to introduce this guy, Dre Gibbons. Welcome to the Productive Conversations podcast, bro. How are you?
Yeah, I'm cold, I'm short, I'm bald, but I'm ready to go. I'm ready to play, so let's do it all day. Let's go. I'm waiting for this. Yeah, I'm waiting for this. I'm actually really proud of you. I know, like, the pandemic was hard, and, like, you was working in New York, you was doing big things, and you inspired me because you never, like, just take a L. You know what I'm saying? You always find out a way to take, like, 2 L's and you turn it into a W, my guy. And you always keep it moving, keep it pushing. This productive conversation is amazing. I've been looking at your website. You selling merch. You know what I'm saying? You doing interviews. You putting new people on. You, like, promoting other people and their businesses. I think that's really great. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to you, man. You're doing big things.
Damn, that means so much to me. It's been quite a ride trying to get here, get back to New York for good. And I'm not a perfect person, but I'm trying to be, and I have a lot of things to learn. And I've great people like Dre, great people like you inspiring me to keep pushing forward. So God bless you for all that. And thank you, my man. Thank you so much, man. Dre, where do I start with you as one of the greatest people to ever live? First things first, how the hell are you, man? How has your 2021 started? How was your overcoming of obstacles in 2020? Tell me, how has life been?
I mean, 2020 sucked for everybody, you know what I'm saying? In a lot of different ways, for a lot of different reasons. I mean, like other people, I did lose loved ones, you know?
Sorry to hear that.
A grandmother, 2 aunts, an uncle. It was kind of crazy, but unlike everyone else in this pandemic 2020, I probably worked more than anybody else. I'm tech, so I was pulling, like, overtime at hospitals, at the pharmacy, all this other stuff. I was working, like, maybe 20-day months, you know what I'm saying, straight. It was crazy. I took a few L's personally, you know what I'm saying, ran some legal troubles, you know, but I'm okay. They can't keep me down. I'm still out here in these streets. But it's been interesting. You know, I met new people. You know, I actually got into a relationship in 2020. A lot of people, like, was falling out of them. You know, it's kind of hard, you know, getting cuffed up during the pandemic. But I found a way. Love found a way. You know, shout outs to Tinder, yo. The apps do be working. Love is possible out here, you know.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Oh, man.
Ain't no shame, yo. Ain't no shame. Real talk, ain't no shame out here for the people dating people on apps. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be feeling like it's a secret. They don't want to say it no more. Yo, it's 2021. You know, we all doing it. You know
that's the only way to get a relationship or a fucking you're in it no matter what.
I don't know orientation about that. People, but right now with the pandemic, it's a little tough, right? Because I ran into the problem, right? Not because I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? Just in case, you know, I'm being watched out here, the Fed's watching. But, like, people, they all wear, have you noticed, right? Everybody look good with a face mask on. You know what I'm saying? From the cheeks up, it's hard to be ugly or not. So I think it's harder to date people in person or meet people in person.
Yeah, right.
It's like false advertising. You, like, she take it, and she got the big ass lip, or she got a snaggle tooth or something. You don't know. It's crazy. Got a big ass mole. Like, I know this one lady, right? And it's crazy because I be working with people and I forgot what the rest of people's faces look like. This one of my coworkers took her mask off and I forgot she had this big. Like, you ever seen, like, Austin Powers and he had the big ass
mole.
For real. And I forgot. So she took it off one day eating lunch and I just was straight up looking at her, like, playing with my yogurt, looking at her lip for, like, the longest, trying not to be, like, disrespectful, but it's crazy. It's tough.
Wow, man. Dude, like,
catfish in person.
Catfish in person. Can you tell me, like, what's some of the best lessons you've ever learned from dating, bro?
Don't do it. No. Dating it's interesting. It's interesting because, like, I like people and I like meeting people. So I feel like good, bad, and different, as long as you learn something a little bit more about yourself a little bit more about the other person you're with, it's not really a full loss. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's crazy that for most people, they fall in love so many times in their lifetime, they think this is it, this is that person. And when they lose that person, they're so distraught. And then I think to myself, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you didn't even know this person existed. And 6 months to a year, this person became your whole world, such an integral part of your world. So like you'll be okay, like when those relationships fall through. So I don't really think of like when I break up or like lose somebody as an L. I just think of it as like a different phase of my life or something different, you know?
Yeah, like me trying to understand my breakups and relationships not panning out. It's you always wonder, was it me? Is it meant to be? All that stuff. And you really do have to live life to understand how important things are, come together. Everything happens for a reason. Like, you know me, I was the worst state person to try to find love until very, well, not very late, but like later than usual. It really um date till like 23, 24. Didn't have like my first real serious girlfriend until around those times. And I still have so much to learn, Dre. And sometimes it works. Sometimes I think you got it, you know, and then the next day it changes. Like, what do you think? What do you think someone like me can get out trying to still figure themselves out and trying to figure out relationships and stuff like that?
Well, one thing I just feel like you ain't never gonna be in a successful relationship until you kind of truly learn how to love yourself and date yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, and it sounds like the loneliest thing in the world. Like, ain't nobody gonna date me, so I'm gonna date me, you know? This thing, you know, because I feel like in a lot of ways, so growing up, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, where a lot of people, especially teenagers, they were very promiscuous. They were very out here. Dating was the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So people was like dating at a young age, you know, like I'm talking like middle school. But my thing is this, looking back at it, how significant truly is a relationship to you as a person in middle school, in high school, and in your first few years of college compared to someone who waited, got to know themselves, and then met someone like worth like investing with, you know what I'm saying? Met someone of a like mind, similar mind process. And then you guys kind of decide to take that journey or those steps together as a person. You know, in middle school, high school, you with somebody for like a half a semester and then you break up with somebody. Then you see somebody kiss someone else in another class, y'all break make up. And you be like, yo, I'm in love with him though. But I just slept with his brother. Or like I'm in love with her and I'm gonna sleep with her girlfriends. That's not love, man. You just going through the motions and just saying it because you think that's what you're supposed to say. I think it's more value to it when you actually wait, take the time, and slowly process and truly like learn about the other person and be with the person. You know, you could date 25 people and not know shit, whereas you really take the time to get one or two, and you'll learn way more about them. Or those relationships will be made way more significant to you in your life in the long run. So
That's
I don't think quality out of the quantity. I think it's more about the quality. You know what I'm saying?
that's really beautiful. And I feel like, you know,
It is beautiful, man.
when I
Fact,
first
man.
started, like I said, I didn't really start dating till 22, didn't really get intimate or anything like that till 22. You know, I'm only in 26 now. And, you know, I had like my time just getting to know girls, hanging out in the city and stuff like that, while just, I guess, we're trying to be as respectful bachelor, if that's a word, or not, hopefully
Yeah.
not oxymoron. Like just dating all types of girls at once, not trying to get settled down, just, you know, meet this girl, then that girl, and that stuff like that. And then like I happened one year just kind of like three, like one real relationship and two other like solid dating ones, trying to figure that out, right? And trying to get my lessons learned from that. And it's crazy when you think things are figured out and you have a whole new wrench and something's changing about it. And you thought it was figured out and okay, and you can move on, but you know, you still have to reevaluate things. Why do you think it be like that sometimes?
Well, I think what be like that. Like you just have to you think something's one way and then when you experience it, it's not that way.
Like that, and almost like it's basically getting closure on relationships too. Like why is it so hard?
I think closure itself. I was a psych major, and like you in college, I was going through my fair share of problems. You know, you was there for a few of them. You know what I'm saying? I had one of my hardest breakups in college, But I took a psych class because, or I changed my major and everything because I just wanted to learn more about like why I was struggling to like comprehend my own feelings and working my own feelings. I wanted some clarity on that. And one of the most important things I've learned in regards to the relationships is about honesty, and not just like with your partner, but like with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Closure after a breakup, I think you just have to really ask yourself the hard questions and be brave enough to accept the answers to those questions. So like you ask yourself, like when we were doing this, like, you kind of look back at things with rose tinted glasses and you kind of forget all the like bullshit that came along with it, all the bullshit that's in between, like the rosy moments. And you think like in those moments, was I really true on being myself? Was I like saying the things that I wanted to say, or saying the things I think she needed to hear from me? Could I feel like I could really like, if I like video games and anime, can I really watch those things or do those things with her? I have to wait until she left to like bust out my PlayStation and like chill and just let my hair down and do that. You start seeing and putting things together that maybe wasn't that great. The text, the lies, she says things to you and disrespects you in different ways, and you kind of just like roll it off and you just let it go. And you're like, but she's beautiful, she's smart, and she's so funny, and like, that's just that one moment. But it's an amalgamation of those moments that like really truly paint the true picture. And you just have to ask yourself, like, are you going to be okay with this person? I mean, without this person? The answer to that most definitely is always, yeah, you will be okay eventually. Was this person the best love for me? Did this person really truly treat me as well as I treated them? Was they giving me everything that I needed? Or was it some of the things that I wanted? And then when you start breaking it down like that, I feel like it's kind of really easy to get closure. You got to always tell yourself you're going to be okay, because that's the truth. No matter what happens, good, bad, and indifferent, you're going to be okay. Because before you broke up with this person, a year or 2, 3 years ago, maybe a few months before, you broke up with another person and you felt the same exact way. Like, damn, this is over. This is it. I'm never going to meet someone like this. And then 2 months later, you meet someone that's even better. So like, you know what's going to happen tomorrow. And just breathe and take it easy. You're like, how old are you? Like 24, 25?
I'm 26.
26, even better. You got the baby face. That's what it is. So you barely lived a quarter of your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who you're going to meet next year or next month or tomorrow at the store. Just relax, do you. Things that happen,
You're right, man. And I think it's just I guess the best way is to explain it from my situation and understand relationships, like especially in New York, just being around, was having, fun in New York. Then, I started dating someone around Christmas time, broke up in St. Patrick's Day weekend. Had more
Go ahead.
Had more fun in New York. I started dating another New York girl. The whole summer of this specific person was good, a lot of growth. Then we went our separate ways, and then like 2 days after, started dating another one. Dated for a long time, didn't work out, then still had things to figure out. And you thought that was you thought things were figured out, and then you just try to move on, and you didn't know that there was that I don't know. It's like, without getting into too much detail, you try to move on, maybe not see him on social media anymore. Okay, unfollow, and then you didn't know that was such a big deal. And then try to explain what happened, and then all things are confused and whatever. And
man. Social media, first of all, social media is a trap, right? And before I get to that, right?
Yeah.
One of the best like revelations you can have as an adult, like once you hit your mid-20s, is that everybody you look up to, everybody you see on TV, all the adults, all the people that's older than you, we're all just old kids. You know what I'm saying? We all do the same shit. We all fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z and Beyonce got the same relationship problems that motherfucker down the street got. You know what I'm saying? I say how he getting cheated on, ain't no hope for nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So why sit here and stress about like what your partner doing and all this other stuff? You might as well just do the best you can, be the best partner you can be. You know what I'm saying? So it's no point in like stressing over anyone else. Social media, like when you like see the person you like making moves and living their best life, you hurting yourself. You just torturing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like for what? Like why do that? You know, why sit there and do that? And then like someone's mad at you because you didn't send them a text or you said the wrong text and all this other stuff. That's all other people's problems. They ain't got nothing to do with you, bro. Just relax. You be all right. My motto is, you know what I'm saying? Two great philosophers once said, Hakuna Matata, my guy. Hakuna Matata. Just out and they'll be all right. People out here stressing about the wrong shit. 2020, people are dying left and right. We lost hundreds of thousands of people. You know, we've had the equivalent of over 39 11s in a matter of a few months. That's literally what happened. Like 3,000 something people died. I think almost 4,000, just shy of 4,000, like shy of 100 people. We're like here, like 400,000 people. We've had over 100,000 9/11s. And people out here talking about like, he don't like me or he ain't like my post or he out here, you know, looking at ass on Instagram. But there's bigger problems, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's nothing that truly beats like a true companion, someone that you could be yourself around. You know, I feel like once you find someone that you can truly be your best friend, all the other stuff kind of like falls into place. You know, just don't force it. You know, when you speak your feelings and listen to people when they speak about theirs, and you just move forward that way. You can't control how other people feel. You can only like be receptive to it. You know.
Yeah, I guess moving on is a hard thing to do, and it's not something to really worry about. Like you said, at the end of the day, you will eventually be okay. Usually even sooner rather than you later. I'm sorry, you're saying?
I'm saying a lot of people also think that like moving on means you have to be like okay and not care or anything like that. You can't like think about this person like months later. You can have a moment of weakness, you know, but again, just be honest with yourself and be like, damn, today, you know, a few months afterwards, I missed this person. But like that don't mean like I gotta break down over it. You know what I'm saying? You have your moment, you allow yourself to feel what you feel, and then you carry that with you in your next day. You be honest with yourself about your feelings. Don't try to repress your feelings because they're gonna regurgitate in different ways.
Yeah,
you can move on and be sad as fuck while you're doing it. You know, you just working through it, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's maybe it is okay to listen to some soft Drake and
Yo, that Take Care album got me through half of my college semester, bro. You understand?
Yo, the best lyric.
Light skin energy, all like the last half of my like college years, yo. Just straight light skin energy. I was crying in the shower, you know, crying in the shower. You get your tears washed away, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. You like, yo, they got me, yo. I'm just way out the shower. I ain't crying.
Yo, man, what's that? The Real Her from Drake?
For real, yo.
Oh, the lyrics, bro. Oh, like these lyrics, that's when you're like, ah, you hear stuff. Okay, wait, because it's two songs technically. Man, when you hear these lyrics, I gotta find this.
Yo, Matt Brown, let me ask you something, right? Because we've all been there. We've all had breakups. Do you got like a breakup album or go to like breakup playlist, like to get your feelings? You just kind of like what you do to work through your breakups to get it out your system? You eat some cake, you eat your ice cream going on. Like,
man, I would go back to the date. I go back to the dating apps anytime I had a legit breakup.
Oh, you about to rebound? You try to just get back out there?
Yeah, like of course, every once in a while, your dad will definitely like. I gotta find these. I gotta find these. But to answer your question, there will be a day where I'm just like, oh man, I do miss them. I did mess up, and especially in a time like the pandemic where there's nothing to do and you just have your thoughts after you do your work. It's tough, man. That's why I try to go back to the gym more to keep pushing forward. And I mean, like I said, like up until the pandemic, I was dating around a lot and hanging out with a bunch of different girls and some I really did like. And I do reflect on myself on things that I messed up and things that I could have done better in my relationships, whether it's putting more effort, whether it's just saying hey, I'm thinking about you. I could have done that better. I could have done more flowers. I could have done more surprises. And it's just making me more prepared for the future, and whoever I date is gonna be a lucky person having all that time of reflection, you know.
Yeah, man. But listen, man, you was over here talking about I could have did this, I could have did that. She could have did a lot of stuff differently too. I don't know the inside
Right.
and outside of the relationship, but like we ain't perfect human beings and we learning. You know what I'm saying? As long as you did the best you can, you straight. You know what I'm saying? And kind of just say, I think one of the most like I think one of the most misconstrued like sayings is the best way to get over one relationship is to get under another one.
Mm-hmm.
Trap, my friend. Okay, because first of all, you got coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? You got all the STD problems. You know what I'm saying? You out here, girls could pop up, get pregnant. You know, you just trying to like relieve yourself. And 30 minutes of trying to get over someone who don't even give a fuck about you no more. Your whole life can change just because you feel like you got to fuck your way through some emotions. Man, don't do it, man. The best way to get over a relationship is just to buckle down and invest in yourself, and success is the best revenge. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no, whether it's like you do what you gotta do in the gym to get the body you want, to get the job you want, to get the car you want, to get the place you want. Once you post those kind of pics, you know what I'm saying? That's when she's like, damn, I missed it. Like that, damn. That's when they start hitting you up like, why are you friend? Like, how you doing? So
That's what your success is the best revenge. And oh man, it's just like you're right. And that's why it's the moving on. And you one thing you said that I think not a lot of people realize, it's okay to move on, and you're human. It's not going to be easy. It's emotional, but
it's okay not to be okay.
it's okay not to be okay. And like when you hear these lyrics from like "Doing It Wrong" by Drake, when a good things goes bad, it's not the
Go ahead, let's go ahead, do it.
these lyrics, when you hear it, they're just like, when a good thing goes bad, it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of the world that you have.
One girl. Yo, I was out here going to Cono with Taco Bell.
And she's the reason it happened, but she's overreacting, and it's all because she don't want things to change. So cry if you need to, but I can't stay to watch you.
Let's don't do it. That's weird. You too grown. Like once you pass 20, you can't be crying in public, dog. You can't do it. Once you're old enough to,
that's what I'm nice. When it comes to crying, I'm pretty nice. I'm pretty nice if I'm really sad, like around people, I won't cry. But like if I'm alone watching a sad movie, hears that song, you just like, oh.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's under certain circumstances, it's okay for a grown man to cry, but you can't be crying over a female in public.
Oh, that I'm absolutely sure. And like most of the crying by myself is because of sad movies, like Toy Story 4 with Woody and Buzz said bye.
I didn't even see that one. You know why? Because I don't need to see it. Okay.
You're right. You're damn right. You don't need to see it.
You should stop after. I cried during 3 because that was right before I was going to college. And I was like, Andy, really, dog? I was throwing away my toys. You know what I'm saying? I had tough decisions to make. I had to cut people off the list. You know what I'm saying? It was real out here.
Right. It really was. And man, it's such a time of growth and reflection. Can I ask you these lyrics from that same song? Do you believe in it?
Go ahead.
We live in a generation of not being in love and not being together.
COVID.
But we sure to make it feel like we're together because we're scared to see each other with somebody else.
That's like, when you're hungry, right? And you want Panera Bread, but Panera Bread is too far away, but you like, okay, McDonald's is right here, so I'm gonna just get a chicken sandwich from McDonald's.
Damn right.
Like it's not what you really want or what you really need, but you really to settle because you don't want to be alone. A lot of people are just afraid to be alone and by themselves. You know what I'm saying? I blame social media for that because everybody out here faking it, living their best lives when they know they ain't. And then you out here feeling lonely as fuck, you know what I'm saying? With your shirt off, watching like Facebook posts and shit like that and questioning like, what am I doing with my life? It's okay to be alone. You ain't got to be with somebody else. I think it's worse to be in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship as opposed to one that makes you a better person at the end of the day, whether you guys break up or stay together or whatever. A good relationship, even if it could end badly, was overall, I think will make you a better person in the long run. Whereas wasting your time just fucking around with the fuckery is a true waste of time and energy.
Absolutely, man. It's crazy. Every relationship's different, and I think the most important thing you really hit on is the growth part. And like the only time I like a breakup that I felt like really shitty and bad, well, not shitty bad, was that one, Pershing Square. I put it in my blog. The girl dated around St. Patrick's Day. She broke up with me over the phone.
I remember that.
I remember.
That's cold, but I remember.
I had to take my train home back to Connecticut. I had my sunglasses on. I was slouched, but it is something to laugh about now. It wasn't so bad after that.
Oh my god! I mean, yeah, breakups are definitely hard, man. It's hard out here, man. But they make you who you are. You be alright.
But you know what was the craziest part? Whether it was serendipity that it was coming, like 2 days I was watching the show called Crashing.
Okay, what's that?
It's a show about the stand-up comedian who trying to make in New York. He was 28 and his wife cheated on him and he was left on the street, so he crashes on different couches.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
Yeah. and we talk to and like I watched the show and the girl breaks up with him in the show, and this guy says right before, it's like, I think the best thing out of a relationship, if you at least learn more about yourself in it, then it's all good. And then I get a breakup 2 days later. I just, wow, those things that really made sense and showing together. So
So this was before your most recent breakup, right? That was the breakup before this most recent one?
Yeah, right. It is. It was
and you was like butthurt, I mean, rightfully so, over that one, right? And then you met a girl and like it washed away. You was like, okay,
exactly.
Whole thing. So that's my point. Like 2 months before you met the latest girl, you didn't even know she existed. So who's to say we're gonna meet 3 months from now? You know what I'm saying? 2 weeks from now. So
I'm excited for Knockover World, man. It's gonna get better. You're right.
You think it's gonna get better? I think it's gonna get worse, man. I think this world is about to change in a big way, and I don't think half of us is ready for it. I don't know.
No, I don't know if we're happy for if we have something to get used to, but at least for how I look at relationships and breakups and that, it will get better. I'll meet, in the words of Will Smith in Fresh Prince, I'll find me a beautiful honey. We're gonna be living it happy together. I mean, the context was when the Uncle Phil moment.
Right.
He's right about that, and it was better for him. And I mean, I understand different situations, but at the end of the day, emotions hurt and humans feeling humans, but at the end of the day, it really does get better somehow, some way.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and again, for a lot of different people, like relationships ain't for everybody, and a lot of relationships take different shapes. A lot of people think like it's one person and one person. There's like polygamous relationships, there's open relationships, there's typical like structured relationships. There's a lot of different ways. You could love someone and not be with someone, be there for them in every other way, but an official title, whatever like that. It doesn't have to be such a structured way. I feel like what's more important to you, the title of a relationship, the feelings that come with that title. You know what I'm saying? Like if you love someone, do you really need to be their boyfriend to love them? Or can you love them without having that title? It's kind of, love is a beautiful thing, but a lot of people try to put in a box, in their specific box, and make it fit, And for some people, it won't be like that. You can fall in love, you can meet the perfect person for you. And y'all can just differ on that one opinion. And you'll have to make adjustments to make it work if you're really trying to have that person in your life,
I do know, and it's so hard hitting, and that's why it's the most sensitive thing in this world that has driven so many songs and movies and books and all that. Just trying to find love. At the end of the day, I guess it really does find you, right?
I mean, just get a dog, yo. Dog's always gonna love you. If you can't get a dog to love you, you got some self-reflecting to do. Because I don't know what to tell you. So.
That's why you're the man, Dre. But yeah, this was. It's gonna get better.
Yeah, it's like a little Valentine's Day podcast right now, right?
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Oh man, this was real, man. This was real. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So what else is going on with you, man? How's this whole podcasting going for you, man? Like, I know you in the city working, like big things and all this other stuff. Like, is this kind of like your breakout area? You think, all right, maybe like New York television isn't my thing, but I see this avenue with the internet and like podcasts, like this could be my breakaway thing.
I still think TV and movies are my thing in New York, but I think this is going to be the special thing that finally gets me over the hump, Dre. it's crazy. This podcast really was made because of a chip on my shoulder. I've been just trying so hard to finally get settled in New York for good. I've been trying since I was 20. We're 6 years and counting, but it's okay. We're gonna still push through. It will eventually happen, and it takes a long time for people.
Right.
And I thought I was about to get the job that would give me enough money to actually move there. And then the pandemic hits too, in fact. And then, it was tough while still hoping that we can survive this and make it. I was just watching movies and writing and figure out what to do, then try to get a new job. And my dad just kept pounding me to find something. And I applied for an job at my old internship that I should easily qualify for. And he said, "You're just not good enough." Because they didn't literally say that, but they gave the generic, "Oh, we're looking at people that are most closely resembles our qualifications," even though I actually intern at the place and I have exactly what they're looking for and then some. And then I was just sick and tired of that, of getting pushed. Maybe it was just a 6-year peak of just all these no's for jobs that I've been trying hard, qualified for, finding references to vouch for me, emailing random people, please help me out. And I just said, fuck this. I'm tired of getting told no. I'm tired of my dad, even though he's being a good dad, telling me to find something else. I just said, I like to talk to people. I know how to make this new technology to make a podcast. And the podcasts are the one thing who's getting me through this hard time. I'm going to make a podcast on my own. I'm going to be productive every day with it. And hence the Productive Conversations podcast is born. Been kicking it since October. 1,000+ downloads in 4 months, 14,000 YouTube views. And while I'm applying again with this on my resume, just about 5 months now, I can talk and explain that when push came to shove, with the technology your employers are using to promote your business or your production, I did the same thing by myself with no money. I just used my savings and, I won't lie, some help from the stimulus checks. And I bought this stuff. And now I'm here, genuinely entertaining an audience, getting to showcase the awesome people in our world that aren't celebrities, and just rekindling and showing off awesome people like my buddy Dre. So that's why this podcast is here.
And honestly, I think COVID in a lot of ways showed us, or like kind of put people to the test, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Because people had to get real creative. A lot of people lost their jobs, lost their homes, and they had to find new ways to bring in income for their families. You know what I'm saying? They had to get creative and go into business for themselves, do things that you just did, and not only that, but TV and movies, the two mediums that influence you the most, that you're like trying to strive for, they changed drastically in such a matter of months. They had to adjust this world that we live in. And they're going to streaming services like YouTube, like Amazon Prime, like Netflix and stuff like that. So this might be the perfect time for you to get your way, like to slip your ways inside. You know what I'm saying? When no one's now, people, YouTube followers and influencers, Instagram, they have a bigger following than some of the biggest names in the Conan O'Brien, Seth Meyers, like Fallon. Some of them have less viewers or supporters or monthly watchers than the common person on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So this could be your way, and no one can tell you no on YouTube. You're your boss. And as long as you I think it's smart that you're having productive conversations, because that's never going to run out of style. People are always going to need to hear productive conversations, and the fact that you're finding people who are being most affected by the worlds that they live in, I think that's a great selling point, or a great way to start getting yourself out there. It's relatable, you know what I'm saying? It's inspiring, and it's educational in a lot of different ways, whether people are having relationship problems on Valentine's Day, post-COVID or pandemic, or whether someone's trying to be an artist like Gabe, or trying to be successful in the city, or get a new life started like Jake or somebody like that. I think each interview you do has something different for someone else, and it resonates with them in a different way. So
that means so much.
I think it means
so much, man. And that's exactly.
And I was gonna say, and think about I don't mean to cut you off, but I know some of your idols are like Jimmy Fallon and Conan O'Brien. They knows they got if they got 450 no's, all they needed was one yes to be where they are. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you just got to find what your number is. You know what I'm saying? Before you get that one yes, and then you'll be fine. So don't let it discourage you. It hasn't, evidently. Just do your thing. Matt Brown will be a successful name. I understand it. I feel it. Truthfully, yo, you'll be all right.
And that's what's beautiful about this. And I believe it, that this is genuine content being made that can be showcased, shared, and explored, while also giving the purpose of having a productive conversation and getting something very valuable out of it. And that's what it's here for. It will be still here when I work again. His brain is not going to give up until the day it stops breathing. And that's why we have amazing guests like you. That's why this podcast will live. And that's why the audience means so much, because we're here for a purpose to just show the interesting people and have productive conversations in it.
Yeah, and then I just want to say one more thing, that I just want to say something I always appreciated you for, you know what I'm saying? I kind of see you as like a little brother, you know what I'm saying? We're in the same fraternity,
Yeah.
and like you always kind of ask me for advice and stuff like that. And in a lot of ways, I looked up to you too. But I just remember that like one of my lowest points in college, it was my senior year, and I was essentially homeless like my last like semester. You were one that like gave me a couch to sleep on. Like you took me in while I was working the midnight shifts and going to class early in the morning, and we would have these conversations late at night. You know what I'm saying? After you came in from the club or anything like that, I came in from work, and it was a great productive environment. You know what I'm saying? It was motivational, it was inspiring. And to see that you're still doing that like years later, you're still giving other people a platform, you know what I'm saying, to have a voice and do things that they love, I think is admirable. So I think karma has a way of rewarding us for like the good things that we do. And you do nothing but good things. So good karma gotta be coming your way soon. I feel it. So
I believe it. And this is for the culture. This is for the world the Lord made. And that's just it's like I'm lucky enough I can find an actual medium to showcase this while still having those important convos with people. It matters, and I genuinely am curious, and that's why I bring all people from all walks of life to it. It's crazy, and I'm fortunate that I can have a podcast with people who are in drag while also talking with someone who's a born again Christian. Maybe both sides come from different worlds and may not understand each other's because of how they grew up and whatever. I'm just using this as an example. But we show the human side of both people just trying to find their purpose in life, whether it's through drag, whether it's becoming born again, whether it's through music, whether it's as an entrepreneur. Everyone deserves validation as long as you don't do anything wrong and offensive, and everyone deserves to hear each other's out without any preconceived notions.
Yeah, I just feel like, we don't have to be the same. First of all, a lot of us aren't the same. More people are different than they are alike, truthfully. But that's okay. And we could be different just as long as we're respective and accepting of that fact. A lot of people don't accept those facts. They try to force their views on other people. And it's like, that's not how it works. You can believe what you want to believe and live your life according to those beliefs, but don't try to force someone to live their life by your beliefs. That's just like, selfish. But if they have like someone like you in common, you know what I'm saying? Like it kind of brings to light the similarities that they do have. They're willing to, they could be friends with someone like-minded like yourself. How different are they truly? They just kind of need someone to show them that they're not that different. And places like this provide opportunities for things like that. So you're doing a real service, you know what I'm saying? I know it can be discouraging at times, this year is depressing as fuck for everybody, but the fact that you're still here on my screen smiling says a lot. So
absolutely, dude. And that's why I just could not let this world bring me down. And it's probably the actual closest of it. And, before this, I was taking some therapy, going through a lot, trying to figure everything out. And this, I didn't need it anymore after doing this. And I mean, of course, everybody would, hire a professional who's trained for that stuff. But for me, it was just a time. This podcast has been one of the best decisions of my life. Got me out through a lot of the stress and obstacles to overcome, and having a special podcast like this one to reflect on those, and also just showcasing how awesome you are and how emotionally intelligent you are too. It's just what the show's here for.
Emotional intelligence is a true thing, and I feel like that's something that we aren't like really taught growing up. We're taught like to regurgitate information academically, but we're not really take care of ourselves, our true selves, like internally, emotionally, like our emotional sanity, we're not really taught about those things. We're kind of taught to escape, like find ways to escape dealing with those things, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's social media and things like that. We don't really deal with the true things that are plaguing us. And that's why people fall into these pitfalls where they fuck up in major ways. But I feel like this podcast, not only is it a great opportunity for you professionally and for others as well, I feel like in a way this is therapy, you know, us talking to each other and like listening to each other, like seeing like different perspectives, just being heard, you know? And I think that goes a long way. A lot of people don't have the time to sit down and talk to someone, have a productive conversation. And you're sitting here inviting people to the table to do just that. And that is a form of therapy. A lot of people think therapy has a negative connotation to it. Like if you need therapy, there's something wrong with you. Newsflash, there's something wrong with all of us, my guy. So just talk about it, and it could be a lot easier to deal with.
Oh man, and it's worth every second, and that's what I'm here for, and forever will be here for. Even when I start working again, this podcast isn't going anywhere, and as long as I have my mics, I think I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I have this calling.
And that's the power of like working for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're able to do this for as long as you're willing to do it, you know? And that's a powerful thing. Seth Meyers, Conan, Jimmy Fallon, they all have to answer to someone else. And this
it's sometimes, yeah.
You're your own boss, you know what I'm saying, for better or for worse, you know. And there's power in that. So because
we won't take it for granted.
If you work in New York, you're wiping somebody else's ass right now. Not doing what you truly want to do yet. Just being in a place close to it. Like if I gotta suck this guy's dick for 10 years before I can get my shot, you know. now you can suck your own dick, man. A lot of people can't say that they can do that. You know?
Oh man, I can't wait. One day to do these shows in New York City, man. It's gonna be special. Can't wait. Really can't
definitely.
wait.
Definitely.
Could we talk about like growing up in the fraternity with us when you said some really kind words, right?
Yeah.
Yo, man, I looked up to you, bro, every time. I was so excited to see when you came through, and of course, that it was your apartment too, man. It really was. You, me, Gabe, Austin Williams for a semester, that OT therapy. I can't remember his name. He was cool. He was nice. The one of the other roommates, and Chaz. It was your apartment too. It was just it was cool to have you, man, and having these deep talk while. It's crazy how much I grew because of Theta Chi. I'm dealing with student loan stuff right now, trying to get my loan modified. It sucks, man. Right. So I'm doing this process to get my loan completely. They had the loan COVID relief, then they took it off.
Right.
I can't afford it whatsoever. I'm going to be getting it modified, even though to make it from extremely expensive to just very expensive. You know what I mean? But anyways, I remember my dad asked me while trying to figure it out, do you regret going to Hartford? I said, with the money I'm paying for this, I can't say no, because I needed that growth to be a better person from it. I don't know. It could have been anywhere else, but I needed for my most genuine self in Hartford. And that fraternity and Theta Chi, most of all, take away the partying, the boozing and the fraternity stuff. It was just so much growth and meeting people like you, and like words can't describe it. Especially I'll go with you, Jake, Gabe in particular, even Dorado. Is just like you helped me break out of my shell. That was worth doing it. And then what was great about New York City was when I started interning is I can apply those things these guys taught and keep growing from it. So I just want to thank you for that, Dre, for all the patience and stuff like that and helping me with it.
Yeah, no problem. You know what I'm saying? I went through it, so I had some of my darkest times at Hartford, I was in some dark places, for a while. And it took other people to bring me out of those places, so I feel like you never know who you are to someone else, you know what I'm saying? So why not try to be the best influence that you can, So if I see someone in me that's like going through it, I'm not like a Superman, I'm not like super Negro or anything like that, but I feel like listening is one of the best things that we can do to make people feel validated, heard, and seen. I feel like it doesn't take a lot at all, but it goes a long way and it means a lot to people. So of course, someone like you who's a great person has been nothing but good to me. it's a no-brainer, to be there for you, as best I can, any way I can. So, but Hartford was a trap. I think it was a trap. I didn't have to go to at all to spend that money. I never regret meeting the people that I did and learning the lessons that I learned. I just think it was an expensive ass lesson to learn.
You're right.
Student loans and stuff like that. Didn't really care. I just wanted to go for the experience. Hartford was an interesting one, but I don't know. School is insane. I think it's crazy that we're in the richest, most powerful country in the world, but people can't afford education and healthcare. I think that's ass backwards. I'm one of those people who do think capitalism is like one of the worst things, is like the biggest problem in this country. So it sucks.
Which is why you're right. The paying for this insane and expensive ass lesson, but it's just such an important lesson I needed to learn. I'd be the goofiest goober ever.
Yeah.
With no confidence in getting no resume out of if I didn't go specifically in Hartford and specifically Theta Chi. And it was such hard lessons learned, but needed to it. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Right. Some capacity, yeah. Yeah, I think better for worse, it made me who I am today. So
right, just expensive that we're all going through.
I feel like everyone has problems, especially with COVID and everything like that. Some people have like children, like they like teenage parents. Some people have children with like medical disabilities. Like my cousin has, an autistic child. One of my closest cousins. Some people have like cancer. I lost a cousin that was like she passed away.
Sorry.
She passed away at 27 of cancer. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, bro.
I can say my biggest hurdle that I'm dealing with is student loans. I think that's not the worst thing in the world. So it's just everyone has their own cross to bear, and that's the reason why we need to be sympathetic and empathetic to each other, especially in moments like these and times like these. Things are so crazy.
Why do you think there's been times that people aren't empathetic and sympathetic, even in a time like COVID?
I think especially in a time like COVID, and even before COVID, people are struggling so hard to just stay above water and breathe. They're gasping for air. So when you're saying they're gasping for air, you can't really think about throwing someone else a life preserver or like inviting someone else into a rowboat. You know what I'm saying? So many people in this country are struggling just to make it to the end of the week, So it's hard to really think about bigger problems that are affecting other people outside of yourself. And I can sympathize with that because I'm one of those people. But at the same time, it's that way for a reason. I do think capitalism is a big problem, big part of that. It's all about like profits. When you think about profits, you start to think about people, but you start seeing people differently. You start valuing them differently. I feel like you can't have things like slavery without like having a capitalist mentality. Literally putting prices on bodies, something that still happens to this day. How can your government, the richest, most powerful government in the country, right, during a worldwide global pandemic, only can justify giving their people 2 measly ass like relief payments of $600, $1,200, throughout the whole year. You know what I'm saying? Where this country is right next door to us doing monthly checks. You know what I'm saying? It's because this country is predominantly a capitalist one, and it fucking sucks.
Dude, it's
tough.
We have made it to a point in our society where we put the dollar over everything.
It's been that way.
And you're right. It has been that way. It just hurts so much more after this insanely stressful year we've all gone through, insanely intense election, and we really letting that type of awful pride dictate how we live, man.
I think this country is a joke. I don't think it makes me sound like anti-American. In a lot of ways, I am. I feel like America is just like a nice like selling point. It's like a dream. It's like when you see like the cheeseburger on TV, McDonald's, and then you get it, and it's just like sloppy and lopsided in your lap. So I think America can be great if they just stop worrying about making the few people making so much money. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I just feel like the few people who have the most money, like how much more do you need? You know what I'm saying? Than the average person. Like I'm all about being comfortable and being able to enjoy my life, but not at the detriment of others. I don't need to have like millions and millions of dollars to have a house on an island, like 3 vacation homes in 3 different countries that I visit twice a year. I don't need that. to be happy. Most people don't. So I just think it's sickening. I think it's greedy, especially when people are dying left and right, the way that they are. It doesn't have to be this way. So
It doesn't have to be this way, bro. And we have it. And we do have new leaders now, but we just have such a long way to go, bro. Just such a long way to go.
yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's not tough. The answers are real simple, but like a lot of people just gotta get out of their own way. Like,
you think we can get there someday, even if it's a long time from now?
I think it's gonna take. Honestly, I don't want to be a radical or anything like that. I think a lot of like it's going to make a lot of people have to get uncomfortable before it happens. We're going to make a lot of people uncomfortable because that's the only times like change really happens. One of my favorite time periods in history is the French Revolution, and it was just because things got so bad, it got to a certain boiling point. Like similar to this, the 1%, not exact numbers, but the 1% was doing so well off, and then the mass majority was sitting there struggling, starving, begging for crumbs, and they weren't being heard, and they just had to stand up and take things into their own hands. And that was more or less in European history, the birth of democracy. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was only a couple hundred years ago in retrospect, in the grand scheme of things. And we're running into this problem here. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, it's terrible. How can you give a family who's A, lost their job, and then B, losing their homes, you know what I'm saying? $600, 2 payments of $600 for a year. And like, come on, man. Like $600 is barely a paycheck, for to work, But you want them to stretch out. That's inhumane at that point. And like they smile on your face while they give it to you. We had to beg. We're sitting here begging for stimulus checks. It's our money. When you don't pay your taxes, you always get locked up. But we gotta beg for our money back when we're literally dying in the streets of a global pandemic. That's not our fault.
It's painful. It's wrong. And you just feel that there's just some leaders out there to finally move it, but maybe it is finally us. Like whether it was, us as a whole society feel some change needed to happen. And I think, as you said, to make people uncomfortable, if we saw something and, have to be legit, we obviously seen a summer of change and social justice for the first time in a long time is really brought up, but we need more people to just change Aunt Jemima's syrup and changing the Washington Redskins names. We need policies to be pushed. We need more diverse leaders, not for the sake of having diversity, for the sake of being diverse, but you have to do it because you have a diverse nation among you with many people of many different backgrounds and orientations. And it's, we make it some step in the right direction, but we need more than a 78-year-old white man named Joe Biden, and who I respect and I'm happy he's president, but we need more people like, I can list you the name of politicians, but, not to assume people I have a certain agenda, but we just need to have the people who need our help. Those people who are screaming and changing for it, they need to be getting the power and not taking it for granted. Do you think so?
You know what's interesting to me, yo? This country, right? We make a lot of money, right? Through military contracts and defense contracts, public prisons, and also in America, we also are pretty advanced as far as science and medical in the medical field as well. I work in the medical field, but a lot of our money, a lot of it comes from the entertainment business, right? And you ask yourself, why is Ariana Grande or why is Tom Brady, who is a freaking machine, even though he cheated, some of his records are questionable. Let's not forget the whole inflation debacle.
Deflategate.
Yeah, Deflategate. Let's not forget that. Okay, we really going to run the clock back on that. See what's up. But anyway, why do these people make so much more money than teachers, educators, some nurses, some doctors? You know what I'm saying? Why are nurses in here struggling to put food on their tables when they're risking their lives during COVID? And I come to the conclusion that a lot of things hasn't changed since ancient times, even with Rome. One of their biggest things was like the gladiatorial arena. It was like a big distraction for the people. When things are getting like at their boiling point politically and economically, they invested all their money and time into throwing these big games to distract the people. Same thing here. We got football players, basketball players. These are like our gladiators, entertainers, musicians. They keep us docile. They keep us entertained. Social media, going back to like Valentine's Day, everybody on Valentine's Day weekend, only the couples are posting like cute Valentine's Day shit, not the single people, but majority of people on Valentine's Day are having shitty Valentine's Day. But you only see the 10, 20, 100 people that are having a good one, and you feel like your life is so bad. It's not
Right.
like what's really going on, but it's a distraction. It makes your life feel so small. It makes you feel so isolated. It makes you feel alone. And that kind of was indicative of like the Trump presidency. There was a lot of distractions left and right. Like you would be amazed to think about how much shit happened in a month, 2 month span during the Trump presidency that we forgot about because like the next thing happened next week, and they just keep distracting us with like foolishness and nonsense. And I think it deters us and keeps us away from like the simple problems. Like who can argue with affordable healthcare and education? No one. That's a right. Who truly feels that we don't deserve that? Not saying Harvard University has to be free and anyone can go there, but like a child should be able to educate themselves. If we're really the land of the free and being our own boss and investing in ourselves and like pulling ourselves up by the bootstrap, why isn't public college a thing, like a free thing? Everyone should have the opportunity to that. I work at a hospital. No one should avoid, getting checked for a possible disease, possibly getting checked for cancer because they're afraid of getting a $1,500 like medical bill at the ER. You should never have to worry.
That happens.
It happens so much.
Yeah.
Before they even see you, by the time you get picked up in an ambulance, you're looking at almost a $1,200 bill just getting to the ER. So if you're sitting there bleeding out your head, you're like, nah, I got this. Oh, I'm gonna live it. Yeah, I feel in the morning. And you die. Like, who does that? Like, that's the world we live in. But America is so great. No one talks about those things. But America's trash.
It's. I remember, dude. I had this situation. I got sick, right, and I got a really bad viral infection. I couldn't open my mouth. And I thought it was the worst strep throat ever.
Mm-hmm.
But this is back last summer, summer 2019. Get to the hospital, took care of me. They gave me IV and it was gone. It was completely gone. Doctor thought it might have been mono, bad strep, but I happened to fail both tests, right? But it was bad, bro. I felt awful for a few days and just couldn't, I don't know. Then a year later, I get my bill. I never seen such a heart-dropping bill. Like it was probably like $8,000 after insurance. And I'm just like,
that's what I'm saying. It's insane.
After insurance. And then you look at the insurance, it was almost insulting how the insurance barely covered it. Like, geez, right, man. And you should hear me for the financial counselors. I just went in on them and I had to, and I've been unemployed since last December, right?
Right.
So after the most intense paperwork for a month and a half, I had to show them my unemployment benefit letter. I had to show them, they asked for everything, my soul, all my bank statements for the last 6 months. They asked for my Venmo transactions and they asked for everything. And it was so emotionally draining. And I actually, thank God, there's some rich person out there who covered the bill 100%. I didn't know a thing to the hospital. It took so much stress out of me, but like, I'm fortunate enough I had an opportunity to afford to have the time to prove that. But there's not so many people who aren't able to do that. And I was lucky enough to have a computer to go over these records, and I was lucky enough to go to a bank to get all this stuff. Not everyone has that who has more legit problems than me, and it breaks your heart that these ways people try to get profit when there's just so many people dying for their lives. And as you said, just afraid to go to the hospital. I was so knocked out. I was just so scared I will say scared. I didn't know what was going on, but like probably if I knew what stress it was going to put me a year later, who knows what I would have thought, Yeah. I was lucky enough. And that was the one time being unemployed benefited me because it saved me from paying that bill.
Right. But you had to go through all that, and luck out and be unemployed. You know, God forbid if you had a job doing what you're supposed to do,
Yeah, right.
shit out, right?
The hospital would have just said, "Fuck you." I couldn't pay them. I literally couldn't pay them, so they just said,
Yeah.
"All right, fine."
I remember like 2 years into like after college or whatever, Sally Mae, I was the baddest bitch in the land. Sally Mae is a pimp if I ever seen one, right? I'm
Sally Mae.
I tried to pay them right. I'm 2 years out of college. I had a car note. I was paying rent at home. I was doing no food. I had bills. I had bills. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember they was like, okay, we need you to pay $600 a month. I had a crazy student loan debt, but they wanted me to pay $600 a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's insane.
Their money, but they wanted $600 a month. I was like, yo, that's more than I'm paying rent. Like, what are we talking about? Going back and forth with these ladies for like 2-3 weeks on the phone. Like my mom, my co-signer, I don't want her credit to get fucked up. You know, I'm worried about them.
Yeah.
That's to the point I'm arguing with this lady back and forth. She makes me go down my whole bill statement like they did with you, checked everything, you know what I'm saying? And it just came out to I can't afford this. And she's like, there's nothing you can do. I was like, listen, lady, let me put it to you this way. I could pay you $600 a month, but I won't be I won't be able to eat if I give you $600 a month. Like literally, I won't be able to eat. And then she was like, oh, well, I mean, this is what it is to be an adult. And I was like,
She said that to you?
she said that to me on the phone. And I was like, what the that's what I mean. Like, they don't give a fuck about nothing.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Dude, I was once having a fight with my loan provider trying to fix this. I after they took the COVID relief off, I'm like, the pandemic is still on. And I remember my dad heard me and he's like, yo, you have to be, you really undermine these people. Like, but dad, it's just like, I'm unemployed as hell. They're trying to make me pay these loans as much. Like I had student loans from First March Services, $1,100 a month. I could live in this city with roommates with that shit.
Right.
That's one loan. There's still the other ones. There's still the Discover loan, which is reasonable at $140, but $1,100. And I said on the phone, like, you know, call or what did they say? You know, this is being recorded for whatever.
Yeah,
Obviously, this is recorded. And I said, like, what do you want me to do that's unlawful to get this money? Like, this is absurd. I said that to her. Like, you want me to sell drugs? Like, that's how I get that. And I need to sell a lot of drugs to get that too. I understand what Walter White had to do, man.
But it's crazy. And my thing is that, like, especially again in this country, like, it's no sense of accountability. Like, they hold the smallest people at the bottom accountable for decisions that they made to better themselves. You know what I'm saying? To try to do better and put themselves in a better position. They hold them down to an accountable for everything they do, whether it's the police, whether it's anything like that, black, white, whatever, whether it's the police, like they'll bring you down for a speeding ticket. I got a speeding ticket the other day for $200. They tried to cut my car. It was like all kinds of crazy shit, right? But like me going 15 over, you know, in the fast lane with the flow of traffic, you know. But this motherfucker Trump is out here doing like federal crimes, you know, against state, and they talking
inspiring riots.
Yeah, they just talking about like, oh, well, he's not the president board. We gotta let him go. I'm like, are you kidding me? The motherfuckers that can do the most damage, y'all let walk out like scot free. The motherfuckers that can't harm nobody. Look, I was born in the hood, but I was raised in the suburbs. I ain't hurting nobody. I'm 5'5", 5'6" on a good day. Ain't nobody scared of me. I'm a threat to no one. But they want to hold me to like accountable, like so bad. Like I don't understand. And little things like that can like put your whole life on a whole different trajectory and fuck your life up. You know what I'm saying? You go to jail for they'll lock your ass up for not paying child support, regardless of the reason. They'll put you in years in jail for child support. Like,
and you'll be harder to get a job after you get out.
Right.
The whole reputation just shot because of that.
Right. They'll throw your ass in jail for a crime that they think you committed. And like you have to, it's not innocent until proven guilty. It's the other way around. It's guilty until proven innocent. You know what I'm saying? So like they're so quick to like there's so many ways you can fall into so many different pitfalls in this country and get stuck. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be that way. You know, it really shouldn't. You know, you could be mentally ill or like ill-equipped to deal with your mental illness. No one's treating you because you don't have proper access to healthcare. And now you're wilding out in the streets dealing with it another way. And now your life's on a whole different trajectory. Me and Scott went to California to visit Eric like a few years after we graduated. Their homelessness problem is insane.
It breaks your heart, man.
It's hundreds of thousands of homeless people, like tents. I've never seen it in my life because like I know what it's like in New York. I never seen it. Eric was like, well, yeah, it's warm. The weather's nicer in LA, so you can just post up wherever and like, you know, make it your home. So I've never seen a homeless problem like that. I've been in different parts of the world. Like I've been in other countries. I've never seen homelessness a homelessness problem like I did in California. A lot of those people aren't lazy and they don't try. A lot of those people are fucking sick. They have
They're
like,
fucked by the system too.
yeah, they've been abandoned by the system. They have mental health issues. They've lost things, businesses. They try to go in business for themselves, got screwed over by the state. There's so many different reasons why people aren't doing well. And I think that's why people are getting increasingly frustrated. And that's why these past few years have been so toxic. You know what I'm saying? And it's rough because it's always something. Like every few months, it's something. And it's hard to keep track. It's hard to remember all the names of the people that we lost, all the people that we're fighting for. But it's only going to get worse. And the only way things are going to get better is if we make those in power feel uncomfortable, you know?
And you do need to get those people from other walks of life so because they understand the situation they're coming from. Like, has there been a president besides the ones of Obama that I've heard, growing up in humbling times in Hawaii and traveling to different countries? Like, what president actually like went through the mill and stuff like that? And not a lot. I can't think of too many true rags to riches presidents, and I might be wrong, and I'm not a president expert. I'd love to hear people tell me who was like that, but it has to start changing this narrative for that to get the people who are going through the shit that this country is going through and bring it on a large scale. Now, like with AOC, people can have their various opinions for her, but AOC as a human being, an individual, makes her so inspiring that she comes from a humbling background in the Bronx and is successful and has enough genuine willpower to get herself in a position of power, making it to the Senate, and explaining these issues that she's witnessing in her neighborhood that reflects on other neighborhoods around this country, and those stories need to be heard.
Because she's has real conversations and she talks like a real person. You know what I'm saying? Politicians, and the reason why people don't like politicians, I think that's why a lot of people got on the Trump bandwagon, is because they knew he wasn't a career politician as opposed to like Hillary Clinton. You know what I'm saying? They was expecting that he would go a different way. He would be something different. And in a lot of ways he was, for better or for worse, to each his own. But when you have someone starving and trying to like feed their family, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to sit there and have a discussion about why they can't afford to get healthcare or aid. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Parkland, all the shootings we were having in the years before, leading up to the Trump presidency and stuff like that. You can't sit there and look at a parent in their face who lost their kid in the school shooting and sit there and talk about why someone has a right to own a semi-automatic gun when there's no need for it in America. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna hunt, you don't need to hunt a deer with a semi-automatic rifle. Like, what
fuck that deer up.
You know what I'm saying? I actually went shooting for the first time like this past weekend. I don't really like guns at all. You know what I'm saying? They're a little overkill, but I got educated on them. I feel like you need to be educated. You need to at least know something. But there's no need for the over militarization of like police officers or even the average citizen. There's no need for the average person to own 5 different types of automatic weapons in their house. For what? Like, it's completely unnecessary. If you, I don't know. If you live in your life to the point where you feel like you need 10 guns in your house to protect your family, check your lifestyle. Like, check your career.
Right.
Because like something not right. Something ain't adding up. Like, you Walter White or something like that. Like, because that's insane to me. But it's nuts out here, man. It's crazy, You're
right. And there has to be some way we can still live our best lives, even with this shit we're in. And eventually, the more people, the one thing that is cool with social media is there is other ways, positive stories still being pushed out there. There's still people overcoming. And there's going to be hundreds of millions of people whose amazing stories probably won't get heard, but they're still overcome. And then there's hundreds of people who try and they won't. But we have to remember we all have it in us to overcome all this. And even I understand the system's fucked and I hate it too. I hate it a lot. But there's some way we still can fight and push it back, even if it's, and like you said, the most important way is just by making people uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know. I feel like the world. You ever see like a star in the night sky? I'm not trying to be like too crazy or philosophical, but that one star is so bright. It's millions of light years away. Right? If it's just one star in the sky, right? It's millions of light years away, millions and billions of light years away. It's surrounded by so much darkness. You can still see the twinkle of the star. You know it's there. You know the good is there, but it's in a sea of bullshit. It's in a sea of darkness. And I feel like that's the state of the world. You know, there are good things that happen. The world isn't the worst place in the world, in the universe. You know, there is good out there, but it's in a sea of fucking darkness, you know, a sea of fucking sickness, you know, and it's always been that way. In a lot of ways, the world we live in is better than the world we've come from. But in a lot of ways, we still got a lot of work to do. It's still not acceptable. You know, we could be doing a lot better. But I don't know, people don't want to do better. They just want to make money and be comfortable. So
And just like it said in the movie Notorious, before we can change the world, we have to change ourselves. And as
yeah,
long as we at
listen.
least,
I'm about to say, I was gonna say, I know you recording your movies. I know me and you both got a love thing for Leo DiCaprio. But what's your favorite movie again?
my favorite movie is The Departed with
Leo,
Leonardo
right?
DiCaprio.
Yeah. Why is that your favorite movie?
The Departed is my favorite movie beyond the amazing legendary director Martin Scorsese,
Mm-hmm.
the incredible cast Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, um, Mark Wahlberg, incredible cast. But it's just an interesting story about identity. Like the movie's about a cop in the mob and a mobster who's a cop, and
Right.
the identity is being stolen from doing that. They're not themselves. And are you able to, can you be yourself even in the worst situations? And I just, I felt that. And I think I forever feel that. Even though spoiler alert, the movie doesn't really end on a happy note, I think it does make that important question about your identity and how much it really is important being yourself for that. Because people have their identities taken, whether like forcefully, unmorally, or even some people have to lose their identities for work. I think that movie is important to remember how important you are as an individual.
I think that's something that you should apply. That can be applied to life, and you should apply to your life. You know.
That's what the best thing about having this brand being grown is that we are individuals who have our potential. And I get it, not everyone will, but we
Right.
have to at least go for it. We have to go for it. Or at least, this might be corny, but 50 cents get rich or die trying. When I first heard that, I thought that was just, oh, that's a cool way of like moving around. And then I'm thinking like, when we just talk about getting rich, I know there's a million things you could talk about. Literally getting rich, you could talk about
Mm-hmm.
metaphorically getting rich. But, and as I say to my parents, it's still pushing through trying to get this podcast growing and get out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this or I'm dying trying, not saying like anything's going to happen or nothing. God forbid. I pray every day and thanks that God has my heart beating. But I just really believe in pushing your potential until your last breath. And that isn't, let that keep going,
Right. Yeah. And that's something you apply to whether you're we talking about Valentine's Day and talking to girls, whether it's like politics, whether it's your career and stuff like that. That's something you can carry and apply in all of those situations, you know. And I remember, I forgot what it was called, but I knew your movie was like The Departed or something like that. I know it had, but like, yeah, that's and I remember you telling me why that was one of your favorite movies, and that's why I asked you that question because I think it's something that it says a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like identity and like who you want to be and who you are, you know? And whether that's when you're in a relationship or by yourself, whether that's like who are you and what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to be a person that like allows your world to crumble around you, or do you want to get involved and be out there, be a part of the reason that it changes, you know, for better or for worse, you know? These are things that we have to ask ourselves. We're all in our 20s, like mid to late 20s now. And
Yeah.
We still have the energy to fight for change and do stuff. You know, we're not fully complacent by the time. Like Tupac said, once you get in like your 30s and 40s, like that drive kind of leaves you, especially as a man. You kind of more focused on providing for your family. You have other people to care for. But where we're at now, we're able to develop who we are, invest in that, explore that, and strengthen that. You know, I think that's what you're doing with this podcast. You know, I think that's something you do in different aspects in your life, whether you realize it or not. And it says a lot about who you are, who you're trying to be. I think that's why people respect you, willing to help you out with this podcast, be a part of it, and invest in your dreams. You know.
Yeah, man, and I'm on everyone's corner for their dreams as well. I really am. I genuinely believe we can make, we can make the most out of this world, even with the fucked up system that we have against it. At least if we fight back against it and make it that the purpose. And I'll forever keep pushing that and hopefully inspire my guests and my listeners to do that and understand that.
Yeah.
Yo, what's your favorite movie though, Dre?
Yo, Titanic, hands down, no hesitation. Never gonna change. Titanic's the best movie ever made. Anyone who don't believe that can fight me.
Why is Titanic the best movie?
Well, first of all, I remember I saw that movie. I forgot when it came out. I think it came out 94.
97 it came out.
97. Okay, 97. Okay. I was 6. Whoa, 97. I was 5.
You watched it?
I had the tape. I had the VHS tape, yo. I used to carry shit around with me everywhere I went. Every sleepover I went, just in case someone was like, yo, what movie we gonna play? A long ass movie, great ass movie. But as a 5-year-old kid, it was the first movie I seen titties in. You know what I'm saying? First movie I seen titties in.
Same here, bro. Same here.
And it was, and Kate, what's her name? What was the girl?
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. She was thick in that movie. You know what I'm saying? And a thick white girl is black man's kryptonite. You know, I didn't know it. That's fact. It explains so much. She was thick in that movie. And then it has something for everybody, yo. First off, it's funny, it's suspenseful, it's romantic. It's about a boy that ain't come from nothing, and he get a girl, he like bag a girl like way out of his league. It's inspirational, you know what I'm saying? And no black people die in this movie. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why it's one of the best movies ever. Because like white people thought they was so slick talking about we don't want you con on our boat. You know, we wasn't good enough to be on y'all boat. And look at y'all sank anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's what it is. It's karma. So Titanic's the best movie.
That's pretty real and authentic hearing that. Man, I gotta rewatch that. And that was something. You actually felt their love in the movie.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you can fall in love with a girl on Thursday and be ready to die for her on Saturday. I'm a little cautious about that. But,
right. Rose!
That's a real life lesson. You know, you be out here doing the most for the girl. You know what I'm saying? You want to get locked up for her. You want to jump back on the sinking ship. Well, she jumped back on the ship for him too. So that's what's up. But she wasn't willing to share that boat. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that steamy car, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, they was doing their thing. So it's all good. Rose gave it up to him in the back of the hoopty.
Gave it her in the back of the hoopty. That's the quote of that, man. That's why I love you, Dre. Making things more clear. So, dude, we've been having it. This has been one awesome show, man. This has been great.
Yeah. I was worried. I didn't know what we was going to talk about, but I guess it came naturally. We always have good talks, you know what I'm saying? So
definitely, man. I hope you'd want to do this again. I'd love to have you on whenever, because this is exactly what I want.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do like a group interview. You know what I'm saying?
Us with Jake and Gabe.
You could do that, right? Or you could do like at the end of the season, you kind of see like a podcast from your viewers and see like do like a poll of like who they want, like the 5 or 3 most like watched judges, or like and do them all at once. You know what I'm saying?
This is a good idea, man. As we keep growing the audience, we can find that, but we definitely have to keep having you on, Dre. This has been profound, man. Real profound.
Right, yo. Right, I'm down. I'm about it, yo. Yeah, you could do one of my favorite podcasts or like interview like shows now is Hot Ones, right? I know you.
Yeah, I love Hot Ones.
I don't want you to bite off the idea, but you do something. You can
have a chicken wings.
like do some shots or whatever, for hard. Some difficult questions, make it a little fun,
This is
with this, you be all right.
Yo, one last profound question before we do our last part of the podcast, Dre.
All right, what's up? What's up?
What is the realest thing you've ever learned?
Honestly, like I said earlier, the realest thing I've ever learned is that all the adults that we look up to, whether you look at people in history, you know what I'm saying, like great historians or great leaders, or like your parents, once you hit like 22, 23, you know, and you start doing the shit that they do, like you start drinking with your parents and like start talking to them a little bit more casually, you realize that these motherfuckers are the same as you. They just started out before you, you know, like
Yeah.
the Dells, you know, Donald Trump, like Joe Biden, they motherfuckers just like us. They just older, you know. We all the same type. We all just like people trying to figure our shit out. That's all it is. I think that's the realest shit ever, to think about. You know, so when you look up to somebody and they seem so perfect, whoever your idol is, they be going through like just like you, one shoe at a time, trying to figure their shit out, trying to make it seem like they know what they talking about when half the time they don't. So I think that's one of the realest things you could ever really come to grips with.
Definitely, bro. And can I ask last thing? What's the realest song you ever heard?
Oh shit, bro! I like so many songs, dude. Ah man, I know it's bad because like I know I'm gonna say one and then I'm like, no, that's not the one. Um, what's your real song first? Give me time to think. What's your time to think? Give me time to think.
And we could go with multiple ones, man. You
That's
know,
a hard question. That's a hard question. That's mad specific. But go ahead.
I love it, man. You know,
That's a tough one. I'm
I
looking.
really like, one pick I'm gonna do is Biggie's Juicy. When I really look at those lyrics, how poetic it is, just a
That's
guy trying to get out of his shitty situation for the
that's
better. I
that's fine.
think that's it was all a dream, and I just start from there. I think Stairway to Heaven from Led Zeppelin is pretty real, pretty
Okay.
deep. Um, you know, those are the ones that come to mind. I'll probably think of another one while I'm at it.
All right. Favorite song is a tough one. I can't do that. I can give you. I know for like my go-to, like one of my go-to favorite albums. It's kind of annoying me now because it always playing, so it's a little annoying, but I like it. I love Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap.
Yeah, there's some talk about some real songs.
That's one of my favorite albums, and not because like it's not like a political album where like you talk about real shit the whole time back and forth, but there's so much artistry in it. You could tell that he really dedicated himself to his craft. Like he was having fun while making it.
Yeah,
Um, it was a fun album. It wasn't like bitch this, bitch that, bitch that.
right.
It was really him like coming into his own. I think that's one of my favorite albums. One of my favorite artists right now is Joyner Lucas. You know,
Yeah,
Evolution is a great album. You know what I'm saying? Um, I do listen to like Kendrick Lamar, ASAP Ferg. Those are like
exactly. I was about to say probably the whole Good Kid, Mad City album, Damn album, To Pimp a Butterfly. Man, that was all a good time. But when we would bump To Pimp a Butterfly that spring semester.
yeah. Those and this there's something about a good song or even a great album that like takes you back. It like really time it like travels you through time a little bit. It sends you back to a different time and place. Juicy is another one. Like I was maybe 4 or 5, 6 when he died. And
Yeah,
whenever I heard that song like on repeat, that was like that was the soundtrack to my childhood, you know. So like the 90s is always gonna be a great time of music for me. I know like
absolutely,
it's
dude.
crazy thing. I have my youngest nephew turned 18. I think he turned I'm 28, so he just turned 18. And he don't know about like he knows about Biggie and Pac and all that, but like he don't know. You know, like this is
Yeah.
looking at them like they Earth, Wind, and Fire type shit. Old
Hey,
ass
they're
like
so good though. Yo, Fantasy's a great real song, man.
yeah, they're still great. You can't be a classic, but it's crazy to think that like my nephews who are like teen is almost 20 now, he's never lived in a world without a cell phone or the internet, you know. So his world
Yeah.
is so different than mine. But like I look at it and I appreciate it. Like that's a crazy.
Yo, you know what, Dre? I'm gonna give you three real songs, man. Like deep. I got some other ones that came to mind. Yo,
Okay.
the Bee Gees Staying Alive.
Staying Alive is good.
It's actually about like gritty 70s New York. They're literally just trying to stay alive in the shit. I learned that. I learned in the Bee Gees doc. How deep is your love? Would I really think about that? That is the best, most profound question you could ask in a relationship. How deep is your love?
That's real. That is a real one.
How much do you give a shit about this person?
That's a real question. I don't know. I don't know. I think No, I don't know. That's some real shit. I think that's a question for parents. I feel like you should ask some of our brothers who have kids, because that's like they say that's like having your heart outside of your body. You know, I think that's a that must be a profound experience. You know.
You know, it was crazy. I had a father on, my friend Will, he's younger than me. He told me when I saw my son for the first time, it was like I felt, I don't have kids, but I felt when he said, it was like I knew him my whole life. I was like, damn, I felt that.
That's crazy. I feel like I don't have a kid. All my cousins have kids. I have a shit ton of cousins, and they all have kids. I don't.
Mhm.
You know, for whatever reason, hasn't happened. But I just feel like they're the best parts of two people. You know what I'm saying? For better or for worse, they're the best and worst of you, and like a whole new and a whole new beginning, like a whole new like potential of like a whole new life. And I think there's so much beauty in that. There's so much beauty in like fear and feelings and emotions, and I feel like that's why when you hold the baby and it's part it came from you. I can't imagine what that would feel like, but I would imagine it'd be like one of the best feelings ever.
That must be, man. You know, it's another real song is More Than a Woman, also from the Bee Gees. That's just, those are the ones that it's just like, man, it just feel that if you see Saturday Night Fever, that was the winning song. It was just
What do you
also
mean
what?
these songs, man?
Also, Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Okay, these are just songs that get you in the mood, that get you hyped, right? Like,
Also gave me hype, but I think there's just legitimate good messages in it too, you know?
yeah, I guess. Usually in the kitchen, cooking, making a sandwich to lose yourself. You know what I'm saying? This
Because I kept grinding.
that's
My
right.
mom didn't tell you, but
That's right.
I did another dude, and then the last real song, man. I just had this right here. What was it? I remember one time I was down and you played me J. Cole's No One's Life is Better Than Yours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a real one too.
And that's true. You know, J. Cole's another like great artist. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
that say thought provoking things. Those are the artists that really resonate with me, like Logic, J. Cole, um, Kendrick. Like, yeah, these are great artists. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely, dude. And you know, just what were some of the realest movies you ever seen? Like any a good Denzel. It's just he just spits facts. Whether it's from the ones
favorite
that
Denzel,
are,
favorite Denzel movie is easily Training Day.
yeah.
Easily Training Day. Um, I recently just watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, how was that, my man? Lakeith Stanfield.
It was amazing. It was a crazy, thought-provoking, inspirational, and heartbreaking like movie all at once. You know, it really just grabbed my attention in a major way. I recommend everyone watch it. You know,
HBO Max. Check it out, guys.
Yeah. It's a really great movie. Great acting too by Lakeith Stanfield and Dan Kaluuya.
This Lakeith Stanfield just like, man, what a great face of a generation.
He just reminds me of Shaq every time I see him. Like it's a little weird, but
that was great acting, right?
Yeah, it was a great movie. It was a great.
You ever see Sorry to Bother You?
No, but Scott has been trying to get me to watch that movie for like 2 years now.
It's on Hulu, man. Talk about real movies.
I keep forgetting about it. But I want to. Yeah, it's just crazy because the movie, my biggest takeaway is that you hear a lot of different like minorities or like racial groups. They're always talking about how they're like how Black people in particular don't invest in their own communities or they don't invest in their people. They're always spending their money elsewhere, investing in other communities, and they're always degrading and destroying their own communities. That's why they are where they are. But I think especially if you see from like especially like the 1950s, like post World War II to like the early 70s, Black people were constantly fighting tooth and nail to reinvest in themselves. Even before then, like back on like the Tulsa massacres and stuff like that, a lot of different like shows like have been kind of touching bases with that or touching upon that a little bit more. There's been multiple time periods, I'll say even Civil War, where Black people have tried again and again to invest in themselves and to build themselves collectively. And at every given turn, they were thwarted or undermined by the US government because they were scared of the potential that they had collectively. So from let's say 1920s to 1960s, late 1960s, after years of being thwarted and undermined and like failing, after that you get like the crack epidemic in the 80s, you know, and after they defeat us, like politically, and socially with civil rights and everything like that, they poison our people in our communities, and then after that, they label them as criminals, and then like all these things of like constantly being thwarted again and again, and now you see where we are as a people in 2000s. A lot of us, there's still a lot of great Black communities out there, but when I see Black people, you know, I got tattoos and stuff like that. But when they mark up their faces with like logos or like money signs or emblems or nonsensical things, and like they put their gold in their mouths instead of like the bank, or invest in like their homes, or when like they're having multiple baby mothers, like parents, like kids in different states and countries in and out of jail, locked up, incarcerated. I see a sick people, you know, I don't see people who don't care about themselves. I feel like people who A, didn't know where they came from, they didn't have a good starting point, and B, all of our leaders have either been killed, assassinated, or imprisoned, and there's no guidance, you know. And instead of like trying to educate those people to be better, they're labeled and punished for just trying to discover who they are as people, as artists, you know, just as like human beings, yo. And it's kind of sad, you know, but that's something that movie kind of made me think about a little bit more.
Dude, and that was the importance of making it uncomfortable to show the Black community who they are and show their potential. And that's why the emphasis of promoting Black business and showing Black and finally having the Black community show their stories without forcing some like nostalgia or keepsakes or cliches. You do it because it's a good story worth telling.
Right. Right. And we're all good stories worth telling, you know, collectively as a people, as a country, but we can't pick and choose the part we want to acknowledge, you know.
Exactly.
We gotta shine light on all of it. And a lot of people have a hard time doing just that. So
Can't be afraid because that's what's the culture is worth showing.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, this has been awesome. So freaking awesome, dude.
Nah, I really appreciate you having me on. You know what I'm saying? Not for nothing. It's good to catch up with you always. You know, every time I see you, you're doing something different, thinking about something different. You know, and that's always great to see. That's always inspiration for me.
And that's why you always inspired me in pushing forward. And you know, the next podcast we gotta talk about you going to Tokyo. We gotta talk about the more hilarious Hartford memories and throw some real stuff there too. But can we just do one last thing? It's called the Proust questionnaire. 10 real short questions. And I think I'm really gonna love this. So Dre, my first question.
Yeah.
What is your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Yep.
Probably fuck, yo, to be honest. I heard a lot. So probably fuck.
Yeah, man, that hilarious, dude. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word. You know, I don't know if it's my least favorite word, but it's a word I can never fucking spell. Never fucking spell. And it drives me nuts. You know how everyone just has that one word that they always spell wrong? Mm-hmm. It's unnecessary. I can never spell that word.
Unnecessary. You know, you're right. I fucked that up a lot too.
It's like I always fuck up on it. And it's like the simplest thing ever, I feel like. But so it'll probably be that one. Every time I was to type it or use it, I go like, fuck, I hate this shit. Like, go ahead.
Yo, and this question, Dre, is a life question. But tell me, Dre, what turns you on in this world?
Trying to be like sexual?
Not quite, but it's like it's more just like what in life brings you the most joy. You know, Marcos, our friend Marcos actually said sex. So if you want to take that, sure. But I meant like
that sex, yeah, sure. Honestly, it's stuff like this. Meeting people and like talking to them and just having like a genuine like conversation, you know, and genuinely like being heard and speaking and like hearing about someone else's like day. I just love talking to people, to be honest. That's my thing. I like social. Like I'm the shyest person ever, believe it or not. And I had to train myself to like talk to people. That's why I say a lot of stupid stuff. Or like I speak out of my ass a lot. This is how I kind of like break the ice because I do really want to reach out and like talk to people, but sometimes I'm scared and don't know how. So I think like laughter is an easy way to kind of break the ice. But talking to people excites me. I like having a good conversation with someone.
I low key, I mean, I used to be a shy person too. I don't know. I just said fuck fear one day. Even though some days I still am nervous and scared and have important convos, I know that those are the convos we have to have.
Right.
What turns you off in this world?
Okay. What turns me off is honestly it's selfishness. Like when people are truly like selfish, self-centered, don't really care about other people at all. Like rude like people, like things of that nature. Because I feel like it doesn't make sense to invest energy into that, but a lot of people do it. Like when people just go out of their way to be cruel and mean to people, like that really turns me off.
And fuck those people.
For real, yeah.
My next question, Dre. What sound or noise do you love?
Cheeks clapping.
You're there.
I don't sound like that, bro.
You're right. I don't know. That's just a sound I cannot get up. But we know what it sounds like.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, I hate the sound mayonnaise makes. Okay, like when
Mayonnaise. I didn't know that made a noise.
you up a jar of mayonnaise and you about to scoop that shit out and put it on your bread. It's like, and honestly, I don't hate mayo, but I hate it just for that sound. Like I have a little mayo on my sandwich, but I fucking hate mayo just for the sound that it makes.
Incredible, dude. Incredible. Now I guess you kind of answered this, but I'll ask it again. What is your favorite curse word?
Oh yeah, fuck. Yeah, you know, Netflix has that thing, the history of swear words.
Mm-hmm. I gotta check that shit out. I saw like one show in passing, but you're right. I gotta pull it on.
It's all right. It's all right. Fuck is the best episode, but other than that,
fuck. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would like to be a radio host. Or like I don't know. Some people think I'm funny and I should be a comedian. I think it's a lot of pressure in that. But like I would be a good.
Yo, it's never too late, man. And you can come on the show anytime you want, dude. Anytime, man. Seriously.
I'd be down to be a radio host. I think that's cool. Play good music, have good conversations, talk about things that's going on. I think that'd be a shoe-in for me. I think that'd be perfect.
Yo, man, Dre, we just gotta keep having you on this show for sure.
Yeah, I got a face for radio. You know what I'm saying? So I'm down for
it. What profession would you not like to do?
Profession I wouldn't like to do. That's a tough one. Profession I wouldn't like to do. Okay. Honestly, it's okay. So I hate being so I was a waiter for some time. I hate being a waiter. I hate dealing with people's like I hate service jobs. I hate being a servant. Yeah, I hate service jobs. So any of those I really don't like doing. Because I feel like people don't appreciate them and they talk down on them. And I don't like that. So
they can all go to fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
My last question, Dre. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Damn. You did it. I love you. Like I got you. That's it. That's it.
What a great answer, Dre. This was one of the best podcasts I ever had. This is one of the best combos I ever had.
I've seen you special with people, so I don't feel that special.
No, I said that to two people. Yes. Wait, let me change. Dre, to use better words.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
This was Dre. No, in all seriousness though, Dre, this was everything I hoped for in a podcast. I learned a lot. I gained a lot, and words can't describe how much I appreciate this, how much I respect you, and how much You mean to me, bro. Thank you so much for giving me one of the best shows I've ever had.
Yo,
And I
no
hope we
problem.
could do this again.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm definitely down to do this again, man. I'm really proud of you. You're doing great things. I already said all that throughout the interview. Just keep up the good work, man. Don't be discouraged, yo. Don't get distracted by the nonsensical things that are temporarily affecting you. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's relationships, whether it's your employment status, whether it's where you live, those are all things that can change as long as you keep the mindset that they can. So you got this, man.
You got this too. I'm in your corner. I can't wait to do this again. God bless you, Dre. I love you, bro. And man, thanks for everything. What a great time.
No problem, man. Take care of yourself, man. One love, all right?
One love indeed, man. With
All
that,
right.
that is Dre Gibbons. Shouts to one of the best to ever do it. Have a good night, my friend.
All right, you too, man. Get some sleep.